The Old Man and the Heavy Load. The story is told of an old man who was carrying a heavy load across a hilly countryside on his way back to his home. The grey-haired man was already on in years, and under the load his frame was stooped and bent with the weight. His steps were short, his breath laborious as he slowly worked his way through the rugged hillside. He dared not put the load down, for there would be no way he could get it back up onto his shoulders unless someone helped him. Along the way, he met a young man seated on a grassy knoll under a tree. Feeling hopeful as he approached the man, his footsteps increased ever so slightly. "Young man," he called out, "would you kindly help me carry this heavy load a little way?" The young man, who was chewing lazily on a stick, spat the contents of his mouth out onto the parched grass. "What will you give me in return?" he asked. Alas, the old man had nothing he could give. Cast down, he continued on his arduous journey. The young man put the stick back into his mouth and continued chewing. "Old fool," he muttered, "nothing is for free these days." The old man's wizened head appeared over another hill, and the road was long and unending before him. The blazing sun did nothing to ease his discomfort. Rivers of sweat ran down his shiny brow. His thin vest, now also wet with sweat, stuck onto his sinewy back. Soon he came upon a small group of other young men who were talking together at the edge of the road. "Young man," he desperately called out to no one in particular, "please help me carry this load a little way." He could hear the young men say to one another, "You go. No, you go," obviously reluctant to help. Saddened, the old man paused briefly as they argued about who should go, and that is how he left them as he continued on his way. His back felt like it would break. His legs were beginning to feel like they would buckle under him. His steps turned into more of a stagger. Through the haze of heat and with the sting of sweat in his eyes, he could make out the shape of another young man standing by the edge of the road, arms akimbo. Disheartened, he debated whether he should even ask, especially as it seemed the young man was displaying a very prideful stance. The old man was therefore very startled when he saw the young man, who was still at a distance, begin to walk towards him, then break into a run. In no time the young man was upon him. Without a word, he reached out and took the heavy load off the old man's back. "Baba," he said, "let me help you. Where are you going?" The old man could not believe his ears. He slowly stretched his tortured limbs and stood as upright as he could. Unable to speak, he just pointed forward in the direction of the next village. As they walked on, he watched the youth, who was now whistling as he walked slightly ahead of the old man. "Son," he asked, "what is your name?" When the young man told him, he realized he knew the young man's family. What an honorable young man, he thought again. Unfortunately, so very rare to come across in this day and age. Soon they were at his door and the young man put the heavy load down. The old man said to him, seeing that the young man was turning to leave, "Please wait. I would like to give you something." No, thank you, Baba. The pleasure was mine. I hope in my own old age that someone else will do the same for me," the young man said as he walked away. He did not hear the prayer the old man said for him, nor did he hear the blessings on the old man's lips then and again at every memory of him until the end of his days.